Hi, OJ. Let me tell you about the darkest moments in my life. If I could turn back time, I would. But I can't. And now I live with the nightmares. Listen to me, ladies. Dispose of your sanitary pads properly. I know you might think this is just superstition, but I've lived it. People out there are using them for things you can't even imagine. They say money is the root of all evil, and I found that out the very hard way. It all started back in school when I met this rich man. I don't want to go too much into details, but let's just say he became my mentor and my boss. One vacation, he invited me to his house. That's where I met a couple of his business partners. At least, that's what he called them. He told me he had a way for me to make crazy money, more than I could ever dream of. But before anything, I had to come to his house alone. The following Friday, I sneaked out of school and went to see him. That's when everything changed. He made me swear an oath of secrecy, and then, right in front of me, he killed a white sheep. The smell of blood filled the room, but I was too scared to move. My chest felt tight, my hands shook, but I told myself, this is just a formality. Then he told me the job. I had to collect used sanitary pads for him. OJ, I froze. My stomach turned. My whole body felt like it had been dropped into iced water. But fear held me captive. I thought about the sacrifice, the oath, and the consequences of backing out. That fear made me do the unthinkable. During prep one evening, I sneaked out to the bush behind the girls' dormitory. My hands trembled as I searched through their trash, my heart pounding so loudly I thought someone would hear it. That night, I found three pads. I called him. He came near the school, and I found a way to meet him. He handed me an envelope. When I got back to the dormitory, I checked 6,000 cedis. OJ, 2,000 cedis for each pad. Hmm. That kind of money I had never seen in my life. The fear was still there, but now it was mixed with something else, greed. It's at this point that I ask that you subscribe to the channel, share a comment, or click on the like button, as that is the only way you encourage me to bring you more confessions and more stories. So please, subscribe. Let's go. It wasn't long before I stopped going home. I got my own place. I worked harder after school. But greed has a limit, and mine ran out very easily. At a point, the man's demand became too much. I told him, one last job. After that, I am done. He smiled and agreed. 2 weeks after my last delivery, my nightmare began. I stopped seeing the world like everyone else. When I closed my eyes, all I saw were cemeteries and demons. Shadows moved in my room even when the lights were on. Whispers filled my ear when no one was around. Sleep became a torture. I called the man, but no response. He never contacted me again. It was like he had just vanished. And then, just like that, everything I had was gone. My car was stolen. My money disappeared. I was left with nothing, not just broke, but broken. Half a human. I should be dead by now, but by God's grace, I'm still alive. OJ, listen to me, ladies. Dispose of your sanitary pads properly. I know you might think this is just superstition, but I've lived it. People out there are using them for things you can't even imagine. If you must throw them away, please burn them. I wouldn't wish what I went through on even my worst enemy. And before you attend church this Sunday, make sure you watch this confession.